Hello and welcome to Faithfully Stampin' with Jennifer Helm. I am Jennifer Helm, the Faithful Stamper, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I have for you today a card that is super simple to make, and it features our designer series paper. It's a great way to use it up if you've got a lot of it hanging around. I could drown in it. There's so much in my house because I'm a paper hoarder. I'll admit it. I really need to love it and chop it, as we say in Stampin' Up. And this is a great way to do that because this card shows the beautiful paper on the front, but also gives the recipient the opportunity to see both sides of it, which sometimes you don't get to do that when you glue it to a card front. Your designer series paper is actually the card front. This is super simple to make, and so I'm going to show you how to do it. To start, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 5 1/4 inches square. This is one of our new in colors. This is Summer Splash. And one of the great things I love about this card is you can get 2 of them very easily from a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper because 5.5 times 2 is 11. So all you need to do is cut it 5.5 wide and then cut it in half again. And you've got a 5.5 inch squares. Now, all you have to do is make one score line to create your card base. And I went ahead and pre-scored it so that I figured you know how to make a score line with either any kind of scoring tool you might have at home. So to one of your 5.5 inch squares, you're going to score one side at 4 1/4. And this is going to become our card base. So what you're going to do is flip it over so that the larger panel is on the right. And you're simply going to fold that 1 1/4 inch panel over. And then here you've already got your card base, piece of cake. Now the next 2 pieces are 5 1/4 by 4. I have one piece of designer series paper that is 4 inches across and 5 1/4 inches tall. And then I have a panel of basic white that is the same size. This is going to be the inside. And there's a reason I'm pointing these out together because I use them kind of hand in hand to put the card together. So what I'm going to do is find my Stampin' Foam and I'm going to stamp the inside of the card. Now this one I decided I'm going to keep it simple and I'm just going to add some accents to the inside. So I'm going to bring over my ink. I am using the colors in the card, Petunia Pop, which is the purple, and then the Summer Splash. So I'm going to use this adorable little corner accent. This is one of my favorites because it's so simple, but it's not boring. And I love it so much, I'm actually going to bring it over one more time before I show you the stamp set that it's from. And I use it on my envelope too. That way everything is coordinated and just looks all put together. So the stamp set I'm using tonight is the Heartfelt Hexagon. And I love it because it covers a different array of occasions. It's got the sympathy, let's eat cake for birthday, and a couple others, but then it's also got that great corner accent, the little flower, which you can use by itself or with the stem, or the little heart as well. Even this is great for insides and envelopes. So that one is my must-have. But let's get back to the card. So the first thing I'm going to do now that I've got my stamps here, I'm going to glue this to the inside of the card base. You do not need fancy glue for this. Your favorite adhesive will do you just fine. I am primarily a tape runner girl. Ours is nice and sticky. I'm using our Stampin' Seal. We also have Stampin' Seal Plus, which is great for 3D projects, but you could use tear and tape or liquid glue as well. So now that I have that glued, here is my little trick. Typically, I glue the whole panel down, and I'm not doing that since this is the card front. So here's my trick. Turn your card sideways if you want. You can always do this up and down, but I find it easier to do this. I'm going to take my DSP, and I'm going to lay, that's designer series paper if you're not familiar. DSP is just a lot shorter to say. And I'm going to lay it right on top of that inside panel that I just secured. And the reason I do that is to kind of mentally help me remember that I don't want to glue the whole thing, but also to help me know where to put my glue. Because I don't want to put glue here on this panel because it would probably run too close to the edges and then I'd manage to glue the card shut. I've done that before on many a project. So all I'm going to do is run 2 strips of glue right here along the front. And again, whatever your favorite glue is will work. There we go. Just don't run off the edge of the paper. And then I'm gonna readjust after I've got the glue on because I usually shift the paper. But you can see I wouldn't wanna just try to eyeball this. I want the white panel to be covered. And so by lining it up like this, I know it will be. So once I have that lined up well, I just flip that closed, give it a press, and there is my card base all ready to go. Now I'm gonna add a little bit to it. I have a strip of cardstock, or I'm not cardstock, coordinating designer series paper. This is 1 inch wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. Again, petunia pop to coordinate with my DSP choice. And I'm gonna glue this right here on the front. You could use embossed cardstock for this piece. You could stamp right on it, maybe tone on tone if you don't have any more coordinating paper. I know sometimes that is not easy, but you can just leave a little border around it if you're putting a piece of paper there, and then there's your card. Now you can decorate it as you please. And I'm not gonna go overboard, but you can keep it simple. You can exquisitely decorate it with lots of layers. It's really up to you and what you wanna put in an envelope and pay postage for. So what I'm gonna do is bring over my Stampin' Foam again and a scrap of basic white. I'm gonna pull over my Petunia Pop again and use a little bit of Summer Splash. So this stamp set is one of my favorites. Oops, actually, I'm gonna reverse the colors here. I'm gonna use Summer Splash for my frame. I love this stamp set and the coordinating punch, which you're gonna see in just a minute. It is one of my favorites. I find I grab it a lot because the shape is simple and clean, but useful for many things, masculine cards, female cards, all the cards. So close the ink now that I'm done with that. So here is the decoration for the front. And all I'm gonna do is bring over my hexagon punch. I would definitely recommend adding this to your craft room if you haven't already. And I can just line up, pop it right out, and there's the decoration for the front of my card. I am gonna add this with dimensionals. So I'm simply going to put a couple here on the back. It is up to you where you put the decoration on your card. You can put it towards the top, towards the bottom, center it. You could put it over along the border if you like. Here, I'm going to put it a little bit towards the bottom because I'm gonna add one more thing. I decided not to go with bling because I'm gonna add some ribbon instead. So I'm going to cut a length of ribbon. Normally I use my faux bow technique, but tonight I'm just gonna tie a knot. If you put ribbon on the inside of the card, make sure it's not twisted. So I'm just gonna lay it flat along there and hold it while I close the card again. And then I am going to shift it a little bit. I'm just gonna tie a knot. There's no one else here to help me tie a bow with a finger, and I am not the best at this, so actually my ribbon is a little short on the one side. Let's see. Here we go. Maybe. Okay, see, this is why I use the faux bows. Chubby little fingers. I could tie bows all day and be just fine, but get on camera, forget it. Okay, try again. There we go. Whew. So there is my little bow, and I don't think I'm gonna trim my edges. I actually cut that one just about right. Usually I have lots of long tails, but I like that. So there, with the shiny iridescent ribbon, I'm not gonna add any bling to the front of the card. But just like that, I've got a sweet and simple card, made use of my designer series paper, and hopefully would put a smile on anyone's face. Now I have several samples to show you, and I just wanted to share with you that you can make the same card using different colors. So here I've used the Petunia Pop card base instead of the Summer Splash. It does give the card a different look, but they both look very nice. It's kind of funny how much that it looks different. It catches your eye different in the different colors. And I did make one with the faux bow. So there you go. Equally nice. Now the card that inspired this all, I forgot to mention. I was so excited to get started and start crafting. I stamped with a girlfriend and we made this card. So this is the original inspiration for this card from my friend Dory. This was one of our celebration papers. I love these birds. I am hoarding several packets of this paper. I should break it out and make more with it. But this is great for manly cards as well. So here is one using our Adventurous Sky stamp set and the coordinating DSP. Very nice. What I love about this, and no pun intended because it says you are the best, plain and simple, this card design is plain and simple, but it's not boring. It's a great way to just make a statement with your paper. I don't think this card is boring at all. And then I've got the stamps to coordinate on the inside, and of course the airplane stamp on the envelope as well, right there. And then here's just a different layout, and I simply changed it up just using a different strip of designer series paper on each card. And here, instead of the airplanes, I went just with the labels. These are from the Stylish Shapes dies that we have. But again, simple and plain, but not boring at all. Really quickly, if you don't have a demonstrator you're working with and you'd like to see our new annual catalog, which just came out in April, drop me a note, find me on Facebook, and let me know you'd like a catalog. I'd be happy to send you one. Or if you don't mind online shopping, you can check me out at thefaithfulstamper.stampinup.net. We do have online exclusives, which are fantastic. We release 2 new kits a month, which are featured on our website. And you will also see lots of other information there. I also post more on my Facebook page. For example, we are having a stamp and die bundle sale June 5th through the 30th, where you can save an extra 10% on a good variety of our stamp and die sets. So it's a great time to go shopping. And you can check all that out on my website. All right, now back to the cards. So if you've watched videos on this page before, you may have seen the video I posted where I shared our new ephemera packs. We have some mix and match card bases and then packs of ephemera. We have 4 different ones. And I used some of those to make this an even quicker, easier card because I didn't have stamping and die cutting to do. I cut out my DSP, glued it as you saw me do, added 2 of the floral pieces, 1 banner, added a little bling, card done. And here's another one. Incredibly simple to do. And those ephemera packs have 2 of each of the cutouts. So I made 4 cards instead of 2 of each of these. Really, really quick, really simple. And then last but not least, I mentioned those online exclusives because our Latte Love set is an online exclusive. So the designer series paper, the gems, the stamp set and dies are all online. But quick and easy, lots of fun. And if you mind how you cut your designer series paper, you can turn the orientation on this card. So just make it 5 1/4 wide by 4 inches tall. Same process, just design accordingly. So, and I love, there's nothing too terribly complicated about these. I made them all today in just a short amount of time. All right, so I hope you enjoyed learning how to make the designer series paper the focal point of your card and your card base. If you haven't already, I'd love to have you subscribe here to the channel. You can click the notification bell and receive a notification each time I post a video live on the page. And I'm happy to have you over on my Facebook page as well, where I share a lot more information about sales and different projects and things that Stampin' Up! Is doing. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and happy crafting.